Hi, I'm Callie King from CRK Training. Welcome back to the Friday blog video. I hope that everyone had a Merry Christmas, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy holiday season to watch this video. So what we're going to talk about today are 4 things that you can do to improve your riding without actually riding. So I think for those of you who live in a climate similar to mine in eastern Pennsylvania, this is a really applicable topic for this time of year, because I know especially after we go through the holidays here and we've still got several months of cold wintry weather, it can be really easy to start to lose your motivation to come out to the barn and to ride and to work with your horse. But there are some really good things that you can still do this time of year with, or actually the first one is even without your horse, that's going to actually make you a much better rider and a much better horse person. So let's get started with number 1. This one you can actually do from the comfort of your own home, because it's number 1 is read more books and watch more videos. So I know for myself, wintertime is kind of my time to really catch up on my education. So I love to take the time that I'm not spending as much at the barn, and I'll use that to read more books, watch more videos, even just spend time reading other people's websites and blogs, other trainers, other horse professionals, because I learned so much from doing that. And then also the new ideas that I get from that help me stay motivated to go out and to work with my horse even when the weather is not that nice outside. So that's number 1, work on your education. Number 2 is do more groundwork with your horse in the barn. So I know I have a small barn, but I still have an aisle that it's, let's see, it's probably about 15 feet wide and probably about 50 feet long in here. So that's not a huge barn aisle, but I can actually still use that or even work in the stalls with my horses to do stuff like softening to the bridle, softening in a rope halter, which most of this stuff that we're going to go over here, I've made some other videos on it, so I'll put those links down below if you want to go see what I'm talking about a little bit further. But so any kind of softening work, the real basic in hand work, where you're working on your horse, getting him to lower his neck, walk forward and stop balanced, you can do that even if you have a really small barn aisle like I do. You can work on getting your horse to move his shoulder and to move his hip, with pressure from your hand, or with a little pressure from your stick. So all that kind of stuff can be really good. A lot of times if you have like a young horse, this is really excellent, but even if you have an older horse, you can still kind of do some of this stuff just to keep them keep them focused, and kind of maybe works through some kinks that you might have kind of glossed over when the weather's nicer and you're just more focused on going out and riding and having fun. So that one is number 2, do some more groundwork. Now, number 3, I think is really fun, because number 3 is teach your horse new skills or teach him some tricks. So at first, this might not sound like it is the most practical thing to do, teach your horse tricks. Why would I want to teach my horse to roll a ball or to, pick up a stick or fetch something for me? As silly as it sounds, the main purpose of this is actually to teach you how to be a trainer. And what I mean by that is when you're teaching the horse a new skill, and again, it could be something like I just mentioned, like a trick, or it could be even something that is more practical, like ground tying. But what you get from that is you start to learn more about timing. So you start to learn, when do I need to release pressure? When do I need to reward my horse so that he understands what I'm trying to do? And also, how do I motivate my horse to actually want to learn and want to do something, and maybe motivate him without just using pressure? And then how do I use pressure to help my horse get the right answer? So not just use pressure that he wants to get away from it, but use that pressure to kind of set him up to make a right decision and get a reward. So that's how a lot of like trick training is done. And it can be a really useful skill to learn, because even if you don't actually use the trick that you taught your horse, the skills that you learned from teaching your horse that is going to be basically the same way that you're going to teach things under saddle. So that can be really helpful. And also it can just be something fun that your horse, that you can do with your horse. So it's fun for you. A a lot of times we know when you're doing that kind of stuff and it's kind of reward based, the horses enjoy it too, so it can, build that deeper connection with your horse, even if you're not out riding him. And actually doing that groundwork will build a much deeper connection than just riding. So that's number 3, teach some tricks. Number 4 is fix any bad habits that maybe you've kind of ignored. So think about stuff like maybe your horse is hard to bridle, or maybe he's not that great about picking up his feet to get his feet clean, or he doesn't stand that well for the farrier. This is a great time to work on that kind of stuff, because like I said before, when the weather's nice or you're just focused on going out for a ride, it can be really easy to just put the bridle on and just ignore that he's flung his head up and that he was being a pain about it. Where if you're not focused on just getting out there and riding, you can spend the 30 or the 40 minutes that it takes to actually fix that problem and to be patient and to work through it. So that is number 4, fix the bad habits. And again, this stuff I kind of all went over in the stuff that you can do in the barn. So even if it's not winter, even if you're not in a cold climate, if you have a rainy day, this is stuff that I use personally with my horses in training so that I can still keep working with them each day. And I thought it would be really helpful to share those strategies with you. So I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if you could do me a favor and leave a comment, tell me which one you like, or if you have any questions, or if you have another thing that you do with your horse, stick it in the comments. I would love to hear about it. And I will see everybody in 2014. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the new year.